My name is Kim Danke, and I am your teacher for the week with Shibboleth. I started Shibboleth in April of this year, and I lost 9 pounds in my first week, 18.5 pounds in the first month. I got to my goal weight within 3 months exactly. So I started off the program at 185.5. I was half a pound from my highest weight, and I decided, girl, you have got half a pound to do something about this. And so I learned about Shibboleth and just started applying the information, because that's really big, y'all. Applying the information is big. So I did that, and then I actually set my goal weight at 150 because I thought that would be a good goal weight. And I actually thought it was going to be hard to get there. It was not hard to get there. And once I got there, I went into our maintenance program. I've lost another 15 pounds in maintenance. So total, I've lost 50 pounds. And I'm really excited about that. I really believe this program is something that is sustainable for life, and I enjoy it, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I feel much better than what I did before. So welcome to Shibboleth. And if you will, you might want to have a pen and paper handy tonight, but if you've got your phone there with you, if you're not on your phone, and I'll put these things in the post to do this, but if you'll text to the number 31996, if you'll text Kimmy, Travis, and my Jason, but all separate words, you will get notifications about when I go live, Travis goes live, my Jason goes live, because there is absolutely no lack of us attempting to teach everybody everything they need to know in Shibboleth. So this is one way that you get notified of live webinars that you can participate in, okay? So to keep this overview of the program short and to the point, I'm going to use my little 3M flip chart here, and I'm old school, so I kind of like the 3M flip chart. Now, just to kind of let you know something about me, I think that I had such great success on the program because I'm a rule follower when it comes to the program. So if it says that I'm supposed to only have certain combinations, certain foods and combinations, then I did it, and I didn't ask questions about it. I just followed it, and it totally works. But there are 2 modes in the program. There's either weight loss mode or maintenance mode. You're in one or the other. If you have not hit your goal weight yet, then you are in weight loss. But once you hit your goal weight, you are in maintenance if you want to be. Some people don't trust themselves to be in maintenance, and so they stay in weight loss mode, which is fine. You can decide that once you get to that point. On the program, there are 2 types of days. We either have a perfect day or a holiday. So it's just one or the other. It's that simple. If your day is not a perfect day, then it is a holiday. So the question always is, how many holidays can I have in a month? So in a calendar month, if you are in weight loss, you can have up to 6 holidays in a month. And a holiday is where you don't meet all the parameters of what a perfect day is. Then when you get into maintenance, you can have up to 12 holidays in a month. Think about that. That is almost half the month that you can have holidays, and you will be able to maintain your weight loss. Now, you might be thinking, what makes up a perfect day? Well, there are 5 components to making up a perfect day. And one of those is drinking your water. Here's my water right here. I have it with me all the time. Actually, this is all I've got left of finishing up a gallon for today. But your goal is at least 64 ounces. Actually, your minimum is 64 ounces. Your goal is a gallon. So you want to get in at least 64 ounces to consider it a perfect day. But you're going to feel less hungry, and you are going to have fat metabolized faster if you'll go for the gallon. It really does make a huge difference. And even, I'm in maintenance now. Even in maintenance, I find that if I'm drinking my water, I'm much less hungry. So water is our friend. So at least 64 ounces to have a perfect day, but your goal is a gallon. The second thing we do is journal. The third thing that we do, and I'm going to go over each one of these more on different pages. The third thing that we do is we combine foods in the proper combination in order to control insulin. This is so, so important. The controlling of insulin is huge. And then we portion control our foods, and we eat it on a certain timing. Now, timing is the only one there that's listed there that if you don't exactly hit that in a day, that's not going to throw you out of having a perfect day, but it is something that we're shooting for. It takes 2 perfect days to get into a very important mode, efficient fat burning. We want to be in efficient fat burning. So it takes 2 days to get into EFB. And we just use EFB as the short term for efficient fat burning. So day 1, you get a green check on your calendar. Day 2, you get another green check on your calendar. Day 3, you're going to get a flame on your calendar. So it is your 3rd perfect day, but it's your first day in EFB. Now, our goal here is to string as many efficient fat burning days together as we can. And this is where you get into a really good groove of weight loss. Once you've had a holiday, you're going to go back here and you're going to have another perfect day, a second perfect day, and then on that 3rd perfect day after a holiday, you'll be back into EFB. So after a holiday, it always takes 2 perfect days to get us back into EFB. So I kind of went over this already a second ago, but water is so, so important. It does help to fend off headaches, it fends off depression. I mean, water is so good for us anyway. So make sure that you are drinking your water. And then we want to journal. I didn't really talk much about journaling, but the reason that we journal is because it helps us to be very conscious about the decisions that we're making with what we are eating. And it also helps us learn the combinations, because when we are writing it down, we are going to, Shibboleth website asks you, what kind of combination is this? So it helps you think through that to make sure that you're getting things in the right combination. Day 3 is, component number 3 is to eat foods that are properly combined. Now, properly combined meals keep away what we call the fat bus. And the fat bus might sound funny, but it is very scientific, actually. The fat bus is insulin. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why it's so important to control that insulin and keep away the fat bus. I actually look at food now and go, ooh, you're bringing the fat bus. I cannot eat you. So it's just a funny way to say we are going to be controlling insulin. Now, component number 4, your portions. I love the fact that we do not have to weigh, measure, or count calories. I just put my food on a 6 to 8 inch plate in the proper combination, and I cover it with my hands, put together like this, not like this, and not like this, okay? And if you can't see your food all hanging out around your hands, then you have a properly portioned meal. Now, component number 5, which is timing, is all about really trying to get us to stop grazing. We graze too much. We never give our metabolism a break. So we have to work on not eating all the time. Okay, so we graze too much. We're not cows. We do not need to graze. So when you wake up in the morning, you want to eat in about an hour or 2 of waking. And then you're going to eat about 4 to 6 hours later, and then you're going to eat about 4 to 6 hours later. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That makes sense. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you get hungry during those times, very first thing to go to is water. If you drink a whole bunch of water at one time, your stomach is going to feel very, very full, and it's going to take you through another hour. And if you still are not ready for dinner time or lunchtime, drink some more water. It helps you get your water in and keeps you satisfied too. So that's your goal. Your goal is to really eat 3 meals a day: breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, and dinner for the Holy Spirit. So, but if for some reason you are having a moment of weakness and you need something to eat, we do have what you call freebies, 1 extra and 1 snack in a day, okay? And they're allowed, but they're not necessarily the most efficient. So they're approved, but not expedient. So I just want to keep that in mind, because a pound of fat has 3,500 calories in it, and we're trying to go into a calorie deficit by at least 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound of fat. Well, if you're adding these other things, it's just slowing down your process. You still will lose weight, it's just that your progress is going to be a little bit slower. But if you need these things, it's better to have these things and remain in EFB than to just throw your hands up in the air and do something that is not approved on the program, so that you can remain in efficient fat burning. We're going to learn more throughout this week, because this week, just to kind of give you a heads up, there's going to be daily assignments in the Facebook group, and it's going to be watching the daily doses and playing around on the website, so that you will be able to know where everything is on the website. By the end of this week, you'll be able to pass your test by the end of this week, earn your first badge. You will do some meal planning as little assignments this week. And so you'll learn how to do all of this this week. So I'm going to go back to category 3. And I saw that somebody raised their hand. Did you mean to? Because if you do, just ask a question over here on the chat. Okay, so to be able to properly combine meals, you need to learn the categories in which we put food. All right, Kathy, thank you. I see that it was an accident. So we have all whole foods have been divided into 7 different categories. These 7 categories are listed here. Category 1 is a lean protein. Category 2 is a fibrous carb. Category 3 is an energy carb. Category 4 is a protein plus fat. Category 5 is fruit. Category 6 is superfoods. Category 7 is shellfish. Now I'm going to give you a simple example of each one of these. And tomorrow night at 8 o'clock this same time, we're going to have a week 1 food combinations webinar that's going to go over a lot more foods than just the overview that is tonight. So your lean protein could simply be chicken breast. Your fibrous carb could simply be broccoli. Energy carb, potato, all potatoes. Protein plus fat, all steak. Antioxidant carbs, fruit, all fruit. Superfoods are nut butters and nuts, seeds, things like that. And your shellfish is obviously shellfish. Now, here's the thing about shellfish. Category 7 is actually a category 1 lean protein. It's just been separated off because some people are allergic, and for biblical reasons, some people do not want to eat a category 7. But if you do category 7s, they are really just a lean protein. All right, so category 7s and 1s are lean proteins. And then the reason that, if you'll notice that category 2 and 3 are both some carbs, vegetables are actually considered, they're carbohydrates, but some are more fibrous than others, and some are more energy giving than others. So there's a lot of vegetables that are in category 2 and 3, and you'll learn which ones go in which categories over the next few weeks and things. But if you do things like a light colored bean and all peas, those are in the energy carb category, and you have to eat those in a certain way if you want to eat them. Now, we're going to learn some of the rules of combining foods together, because this is really the secret to the whole program. There's a lot of combinations, but on this first week's journey, isn't it best just to keep it simple? Keep it real simple the first week, and then as you're learning things, you can reach out and branch out and do other things. Okay, so the question is, when we have veggies like cauliflower, rice, or broccoli, do portions still apply, or can we eat what we want of those? Okay, so rice, first of all, let's talk about this. Never white rice. White rice is not on the program. You would have long grain brown rice of that. And rice, you should really, in weight loss mode, only have about a 1/4 cup of rice. And if you're going to eat rice, which is considered an energy carb, category 3, must be eaten with a category 1 and a 2. Oh, cauliflower rice. Sorry about that. But anyway, that was a good lesson. That was a good lesson just then. So if you are doing just regular rice, long grain brown rice, and if you're eating a category 3 of any kind, there's a must be eaten with a 1, which is a lean protein, and there's an and category 2 fibrous carb. But as for the question, Susanna, if you're eating it with your meal, oh no, I read it wrong, so don't worry about it. If you're eating it with your meal, I would still portion control that underneath my hands. But any fibrous carb, category 2 vegetable, and the reason I separate that out is there are some breads, fibrous carb 2 breads, which is very exciting. There's over 60 breads in the fibrous carb category. But if you're eating a vegetable that's a fibrous carb, it's actually considered a freebie. So you can eat it whenever you need to, but we are also trying to get our stomach to shrink. So if I was eating it with a meal, I would still portion control it. So I hope that makes sense. Still portion control it with a meal, but if you're hungry between meals, that's actually a really good thing to go to, would be a fibrous carb veggie, because it's considered a freebie. So fibrous carb veggies are considered 2 things. They're considered a category 2 component of a meal, but they're also considered freebies if you need those between meals. They're actually a very good choice for that. Okay, so I'm still having a perfect day if I went veggie heavy. I would say that that is not going to hurt you, but you want to keep in mind that you are trying to shrink your stomach. So very good, awesome, and great question. Thank you so much. Okay, so that was actually a really good lesson right there about something that you want to make sure that you do. So what I just taught you, that if you want a category 3 energy carb, that it must be eaten with a 1 and a 2, also applies to a category 5 fruit. If you want to eat some fruit, you must eat it with a category 1 and a 2 when you're in weight loss, okay? But once you get into maintenance, fruit's actually a freebie. Now, I love this program because 1, we do not exclude any macronutrients. We do all of the macronutrients, and we don't exclude fruit, which some plans exclude fruit. Now, we do in weight loss, we have to eat fruit in a certain way, but in maintenance, it is a freebie. Now, this week, we are going to be looking at our combinations chart, and I want you to familiarize yourself with that because there are 3 columns on this chart, and one of them is better for weight loss, one of them is another good column for weight loss, and then one of them is really, it's okay for weight loss, but it's more like a lifestyle choice. It is the things that'll keep you in EFB, but it's branching out, doing the energy carbs and the fruits and things like that. But for your first week, if you'd like to keep it simple and really see a great weight loss week and have a super phenomenal jump start, if you'll keep it simple and you will do a category 1 lean protein with a category 2 fibrous carb, and you can have cooked that in MCT oil, or a 7 and a 2 cooked in MCT oil, and we're going to talk about MCT oil, and then throw in some meal replacements. I say that because you don't have to ever eat a meal replacement if you don't want to, but we are busy. We are busy people, and sometimes a meal replacement is just that thing that you want to use for simplicity and just to when you're going out the door, you didn't have your time to make yourself lunch, throw in a meal replacement bar or have a shake or something with you. But that just keeps the whole program, honestly, practical and simplified. So do that the first week. Now, the MCT oil, I'll get to that. I'll get to the MCT oil in a second. But when you are eating a category 4, which is like a piece of steak, and you're going to want to pair that with a fibrous carb, a category 2. You actually can eat a 4 by itself, but it's really just better to pair it with a category 2. So let's say you had some steak and then you ate some green beans with it. That would be perfect. But what you do not want to do is you never ever want to pair a protein plus fat with your energy carbs, your fruits, or your superfoods. Just don't pair those together. Your energy carbs, your fruits, and your superfoods have a little bit more, much more ability to bring an insulin release. And if the fat that is in this protein plus fat is in your bloodstream, when you have an insulin release, you're going to store that fat. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But this whole program is very, very scientific. And once you know how this works, you are going to be amazed, and you're not going to want to put certain things together anymore because you'll know they shouldn't. They're not good for you. It's not good for weight loss. So when you are at a restaurant, you need to remember that you do not know what kind of oil they cooked your, let's just say that you want a piece of chicken. Okay, so that's a lean protein, isn't it? But we don't know what they cooked it in. They could have cooked it in olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. And so therefore they added fat to that lean protein. So anytime you are in a restaurant, make sure that you just consider all meat a category 4. And you would only want to have a category 2 fibrous carb with that. So I'm going to give you my example. I like to go to Longhorn. So you go to Longhorn, you order yourself a piece of steak. I will not be ordering a baked potato with that steak because the baked potato is going to bring a huge insulin release, and the fat that's in that steak is going to get stored on my body. And we're going to talk about this in just a second too. But I would just order, now what I've started doing is ordering broccoli with that. There is not giving my body not one thing that's going to bring an insulin release like a potato would. And so therefore, the fat that's in that steak is not going to be stored in our body, and we still will remain in efficient fat burning by doing that. Okay, so I mentioned MCT oil earlier. MCT oil stands for medium chain triglyceride. And medium chain triglyceride, which we sell in the store, which is 100% MCT oil that has been maximized for cooking, is the type of MCT oil that you want. If it doesn't say 100% MCT oil on there, there's something else in there and you don't want to use it. Your other cooking oils would be coconut oil, which is 60% MCT oil, ghee butter, which is a clarified butter, and of course you can use a 0-calorie cooking spray at any time. But this MCT oil, remember how I said earlier, it was the best for a fat burning meal, the category 1 plus 2 plus MCT, or the category 7 plus 2 plus MCT. The reason that you're adding the MCT is because it is thermogenic, it is great for fat burning, and it helps us burn some extra calories. Now, what I would want to tell you about this MCT oil is this. Just because you're hearing now that it is good to use and it's good for fat burning, you do not want to take it just as a supplement. So a lot of times people will hear that it's good for you and they just want to take a tablespoon of it. Don't do that. And don't make bulletproof coffee with it or anything like that. You don't do those things because honestly, this MCT oil still has about 100 calories per tablespoon in it. And a tablespoon is your recommended amount for cooking, let's say a piece of chicken or whatever you're cooking in your pan. So the 1 tablespoon is the amount that you'd want to use. Tip, don't use that much with egg whites. It'll overflow in the pan. So just a little amount for your egg whites. But I also used my MCT oil and put it in a little ramekin and use it as an au jus sauce after I've cut up my chicken. And I'll just dip it in that, or you could drizzle it over your broccoli or cauliflower or whatever's left. It's very yummy that way. But MCT oil is a medium chain triglyceride. It is the one that we sell is the 100% maximized for cooking. Keep in mind that it has a very low smoke point. So if you're cooking this in your pan on your stove, make sure that you cook it on low to medium heat. Otherwise, you are setting off your smoke detector. Okay, so we don't want that to happen. You have been warned that your smoke detector can be set off if you are not cooking this on low to medium heat. So make sure you do that. But the MCT oil burns up like this. It burns up very fast. That's why you have to cook it on low to medium heat. But when we ingest it and we put it in our body, it also burns up very fast. So what happens is we don't have these long chain triglycerides from the canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil. Those take forever to burn up. Imagine 2 candle wicks. Your long chain triglycerides really long, and then we're going to pretend this one's short. Your medium chain triglyceride is short. Which one, if you lit it, is going to burn up faster? Obviously, the short one. That's going to burn up faster. This takes forever to burn up. So this right here is going to get stored as fat in our body because we don't expend enough energy to burn that up. And so our goal is to get to stored fat. So the way to get to stored fat is not give our body something that it's going to be working on for a very long time to burn. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope I see some yeses in just a second. I hope that's a wow moment. To me, that was kind of mind-blowing moment that I just needed to change my oil for one thing. I also use MCT oil for my recipes. So I make a baked spinach recipe that's in our recipe library. I used MCT oil. So I make a pancake recipe that's in our recipe library. I use MCT oil. So I use MCT oil for everything now, so I don't have the opportunity to store fat from my LCTs. And what else do I need to tell you about MCT? Maybe I'll come back to it, but I think I got everything on. Okay, so I said earlier, don't bring the fat bus. We do not want to bring the fat bus. The fat bus is insulin. The whole point to this program is to modify any behaviors that we've had in the past that were not good for us. 2, follow the Shibboleth shield with the water, the journaling, the combinations, the portion, and the timing. We're doing these things to set our body up into efficient fat burning. But the number 3 one that I always list as the combinations, that is where you are able to control insulin. When you are able to control insulin, you are able to control your blood pressure. You are controlling insulin that's going around in your body. You're controlling your fat burning efficiency. There's so many things, okay? So the fat bus is actually insulin. And think about this, a bus's job is to go around and pick people up and take them to their destination. Well, insulin is a hormone. It is a growth hormone. Well, after about age 18, 19 years old, we're done growing in any way that we want to be growing anyway. If we're doing any growing, it's usually not taller at that point. It's usually wider, and we don't want that. And then the other thing that insulin is, it's a fat storage hormone. Well, I certainly don't want to be storing any fat either. So this is why we want to control insulin. So let's go back to my little example earlier of the steak and the baked potato. So you eat that baked potato, which is an energy carb, which is approved on the program. You just have to eat it in the right way. You ate this baked potato, and so your body is dumping out a lot of insulin into your bloodstream. But remember, you've also eaten that protein plus fat. So there's a lot of fat running around in your bloodstream. So when that happens, your the fat bus, insulin, its job is to go around and pick up those fat lipids. And when it picks up those fat lipids, it takes it to the storage facility. Can anybody tell me where the storage facility might be? I'm gonna give about a second for y'all to type something in. Tell me where you think the storage facility is, or the destination spot. Are y'all awake? I hope so. There's 10 of you on here. I hope that y'all are listening. Where do you think that the storage facility is, or the destination? Well, I guess I'm going to have to tell you. Yeah, okay, all right, I see some spots. That's great, that's great. Yeah, our rear end, our stomach, our belly, that is the storage spot. And anywhere it goes, Dawn, that is so right, because I had it all over the place. If this is where you store it, you know, some people store it a little bit more in their face. But yeah, it takes it to the storage facility where we do not want to be storing it. So we have to control insulin with this whole program. And that's why the fat bus is, we want to keep the fat bus at bay at all times. So just keep in mind that holidays on the program are allowed, but after you've had a holiday, you've had some insulin release, and it takes 2 perfect days to get back into efficient fat burning after that, okay? So in your first 10 days, 7 to 10 days, I like for you to keep things simple, but everybody wants to know, what am I gonna eat? Because that's what you're focused on. So what you wanna do is you want to create a list, and you can go into the food library. You know, I'm gonna be helping you through this week, and I'll show you in just a second, but you go into the food library and pick out 10 lean proteins that you want to eat. So maybe do chicken breast, turkey breast, 96% lean ground meat of any kind, boar's head London broil. Maybe you want to do some egg whites. Maybe you can do some Oikos 000 yogurt. Make yourself a list of about 10 lean proteins that you like. Then make yourself a list of about 10 fibrous carbs that you like. Broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Maybe you don't like Brussels sprouts. On this program, you don't have to eat anything that you don't like. Just don't put it on your list. But there's over 60 approved breads in the fibrous carb category. So I might put Thomas Light 100 calorie English muffins on my list. Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Joseph's mini pitas, Joseph's lavish bread, or Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread. Those are considered fibrous carb category 2s. Make yourself a list of about 10 of each of those, and it's just like you were in elementary school. Draw a line from one that you want to eat with the other and make another one, and that is easy meal planning. Write those things down. If you've got some meat that you're cooking, cook it in that MCT oil, add it to your fibrous carb, and you have a quick and easy little meal plan. And then, like I said earlier, throw in some meal replacements for simplicity, and you have got an easy meal plan for the first week. Now, one of the things that Shibboleth is so awesome about is we give you so many different sources of help. So you want to make sure that you are in the Facebook groups. You need to be in the silver level Facebook group for sure. There's over 8,000 people in that group that are active, and guess where that's members supporting members. So if you've got a question about what you're doing, then you want to ask it in there, or share what you're doing so other people can know what you're doing. But that's where we get a lot of ideas, lots of great ideas. The other Facebook group that you want to be in is the Shibboleth Fixed It page. This is a very special group that Kim Shibboleth, which is not me, Kim, a different Kim, Kim Shibboleth monitors this group. And this is a group where, let's say you had a question about something. You go, I wonder if this is approved. First of all, always look it up in the food library before you ask the question on there. Because if it's in the food library, you won't need to ask the question on there. But if it's not in the food library, then you can post a picture of the front of the item and a picture of the back of the item, the nutrition label, post that in there and ask if this would be approved. Kim Shibboleth monitors that Monday through Friday, and she will let you know if that's something that can be approved. If it's something that can be approved, she'll add it to the food library. That way everybody gets to take advantage of the item that you have found. And also, let's say you have a recipe that you have liked in the past and you want to know if that could be approved, then you can put it in there as well. But I would try to do some thinking about that and let her know what you think would switch up in there to make it Shibboleth approved, so that she can have some idea of what you're wanting. And then we have an amazing website. Don't get overwhelmed by it in the beginning. Just play around with your tabs. But after you start getting used to everything, check it all out. There are so many resources in this website. We get to journal online. We have an approved food library of over 5,000 approved foods. We have a recipe library with over 2,000 recipes. We have our timing chart on there. We have the restaurant guide on there. There's so many things. And we also have an app. If you do not have the app, just search for Shibboleth Journal app in your app store. And when you download, it's 99 cents one time. When you download that app, the 4 things that are on that app are the food library, the recipe library, and the restaurant guide, so that you can have easy access to them when you're out and about. And you can also journal using the app too. So that's a great way to quickly journal your food when you are out and about. But there's so many more resources on the website, because the website can handle all of that data, and apps just can't handle all of that data. They're meant to be a little bit more simple. And then we also have, look at this, free mentoring appointments. So if you go to mentor.genbook.com, GENBOOK.com, then you can have a free mentor appointment. Everybody that's hearing me tonight, I do suggest that you set up a mentor appointment this week, because it does not hurt to talk to several different people about meal planning and understanding the Shibboleth Shield. And maybe you could do a website walkthrough. I would not do that one, because I'm going to be walking you through the website over the next 6 days, but I would spend time talking with them about meal planning and things like that first. That's what I would do on there. But that's amazing. And guess what? You can talk to them as often as you need to, which is fantastic. And focus on this fast track each day. The reason I do this fast track is because I want you to watch all of the daily doses. There are 26 little videos that Travis teaches you the program in. And so this has been an overview tonight, but he's going to talk more deeply about each one of those things. And the videos are actually pretty short. The shortest one, I think, is 1 minute and 12. And then the longest one, I think, is 9 minutes. So these are short, quick, easy videos. But what I've done is I've broken them down so that you can watch a few each day. And then I am going to show you some things on the website each day. And you have little assignments each day just to make yourself familiar with everything. But once you've started getting your meal plan down and you understand how this program works, this is a lifestyle. This is not a diet. This is a lifestyle. This is something that you can keep up with for the rest of your life. And honestly, you need to keep up with it for the rest of your life. Anything that you stop doing and go back to old habits doesn't work. So this is something that is very practical, sustainable, and fun. And as long as you have a willing and wanting heart and a local grocery store, you can do this program. And that's one thing that I love about this program. It's not multi-level sales. It's not direct, multi-level marketing. It's not direct sales. This is truly a nutrition education that once you get it all down, you are going to wonder, why did I not know this before? Why did they not teach this in schools? Because this is phenomenal information. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to share my screen with you. And then what I'm going to show you is this is really what your website, once you sign in, looks like. Okay, and then I'm going to be going over each one of these tabs this week, so I'm not going to do all of them right now, but feel free to play in them now if you want to. It's totally fine. But one of the most important things that you're going to do is you're going to watch these daily doses. Now, one of my tips for watching these daily doses is this. Get a shower at night, get in the bed, get comfortable, and have your phone and just watch these daily doses. You're relaxed, it's easy, it's not going to take more than 20 minutes to watch these daily doses. And you can just do that while you're relaxing in bed. But what you're going to do is you're going to click right here. And once you've clicked right there, a video will pop up. Once you have watched that video, click right here and then click yes. And then click save. And what's going to happen is your hyperlink color is going to change from blue to green. And the great thing about that is you'll always know where you are when you come back to this page. So these are the 26 little daily doses. And then right down at the bottom, see where it says after you have watched all the daily doses and materials, you're ready for the phase 1 foundation test. There's the link for taking the test. So you're going to click there and take that, and you'll earn your first badge by doing that. These blue buttons right here are some things that are important to print. The only one I would think twice about printing, unless you just want to, this one's 66 pages long. That's the book. So you would be able to print that and read that as well. Now, I read it. I read it on my phone. So that is the book. But all these things are important to print out. And we're going to go over different ones of those during the week. So I'm not going to do that right now. But I am going to click right here. This is going to be one of your absolute favorite tabs. Click right there on resources, recipes, and videos. Once you finish watching all the daily doses, there's some extra videos right here. But this right here, this approved food library, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with this. Do you see how I clicked on that? And it gives you each category, and then it gives you a description of each category underneath there. Talks about condiments, what could be considered a freebie. If you're a coffee drinker, talks about your creamer. And by the way, the best idea, I'm not a coffee drinker, but the idea that I heard that I would like to do if I was, is I would use a ready-to-drink protein shake as my coffee creamer. I'm adding a flavor and some extra protein to my coffee. So this is really where you want to familiarize yourself with. And to make your list of 10 lean proteins, click right there on lean protein, and it'll generate a list. And after that list is generated, you can write them down and just start eating. Now, if there are certain things that you already eat, look them up right here in the food library and see which ones that Shibboleth approves. Okay, because Shibboleth is actually very brand specific. What the team has done is they have gone through foods and they have found and approved the foods that have the right amount of fiber and protein in them to make sure that we are not bringing the fat bus, or it is negating any insulin that did come from eating a fibrous carb, an energy carb or a fruit, that kind of thing. So it's 8:45. I like to keep this one kind of to the point and everything. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we're going to do a food combination. It's going to be all about food combinations. And then tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you'll already have your day 2 assignments in there with a video from me and everything. So make sure you do that. But while I'm on here, does anybody else have any other questions that I could answer for you tonight? You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you real quick what my very first day was of eating. My very first Shibboleth approved day of eating. For breakfast, I had a Mighty Muffin. I like the blueberry ones and the double chocolate ones. Those are my favorites. So I had a Mighty Muffin for breakfast. For lunch, I browned 96% lean ground beef, and I mixed my taco seasoning in with that. And then I had shredded lettuce, some fat-free cheese, and I had a few strips of red bell pepper and yellow bell pepper. So that was a category 1 and 2. So that was for lunch. And then for dinner, I had chicken and cauliflower. I did cook my chicken in MCT oil. So that was a 1 plus a 2 plus MCT oil. So that was my very first Shibboleth approved meal. Feel free to use something similar to that. And I hope that y'all have a great night and that you wake up excited in the morning to see what your assignment is. And that please join me again tomorrow night for the fast track food combinations. And reach out to me if you need anything. Feel free to friend me on Facebook, Kim Danke. I'm easy to find, so just friend me. And we can do this together because we are all on the same journey. Nobody wants to sit around and be uncomfortable in their skin. Nobody wants to have clothes that don't fit them. Nobody wants to have health problems. So we are all on this journey together, and I'm there to support you. And you're welcome. You're welcome, Susanna. Thank you. I hope you have a great night, a great week, and just start thinking about ways to incorporate the Shibboleth Shield and combine your foods in the right combinations. You're welcome, Merlene. Thank you. You're welcome, Lynn. And y'all reach out to me if you need anything at all. And if you need to rewatch this video, I will upload it via YouTube to the group in just a little bit. All right. Good night, y'all.